Help to Adjust podcast, If Testimony Was a Person, where we talk to all kinds of professionals from all walks of life about their journey and about equity, inclusion, and psychology and all related topics. Today we have a special guest. This is a person who has a varied and rich background. You have a background in the helping professions. You were a teacher, a counselor in schools, and more recently, but not new, to Pranic Healing.
Pranic Healing?
Yeah.
Pranic Psychotherapy, yes.
And Pranic Psychotherapy.
Pranic Psychotherapy.
Definitely have some rich conversation ahead of us. Everyone meet Mr. Donald Atkins.
First and foremost, I want to thank you for having me today. Thank God for the opportunity to share.
It's a pleasure, and there's things that we don't talk about enough in our community, and when I get a chance to talk to people that bring something that's a little bit off the beaten path to our audience, I love it. And so take me back in time. Where were you born and raised?
Born and raised, Jamaica, Queens. Grew up in South Jamaica. Went to school in Far Rockaway, Beach Channel High School. Studied marine biology and oceanography. From there, I went to college in Boston.
Went to Boston. You went to Boston U?
Boston University. And did a study abroad in Spain. Came back. I went to graduate school at Brooklyn College, studied school psychology. From there, I studied counseling. I got a bachelor's in psychology from Boston University. Mm-hmm. Always loved psychology, always loved the brain and how it worked, and always was into self-development. From there, I went to Touro College.
So go back to Brooklyn College. You got a master's in school psychology.
No, I didn't get the master's in school psychology. Okay. I was working on it. I had some medical issues. I had 20/20 blurry vision due to allergic reactions to things that I couldn't get under control, so I didn't continue that. But studied it, know the information, don't have the degree in it. Right. Have the information, still able to, utilize it.
Life happens like that sometimes. Yeah. And but yeah, once you absorb it, it doesn't
still in there.
Yeah. And so then you ended up. Where did you do after that?
I was at Brooklyn College. I worked for the Principal Center at Brooklyn College, so I was working in an administrative department, dealing with principals, setting up conferences for them. From there, I got to the Board of Education. Actually, the way I got to the Board of Education, I was working as a counselor at an agency, Adolescents in Need. And I was doing a school visit, and I saw a counselor who happened to be a Spark counselor. And I said, I want to do that. This guy, he was interacting with kids, and his name was Mark Duke. I remember him because when I came on board with the DOE, I met him, wonderful guy, and it was interesting because they weren't hiring at the time. I said, you know what, they're not hiring, I'm sending my resume anyway. I got the job.
So that's something.
Yeah.
So just for those that don't know, the Spark counselor, was that an acronym? I mean, it was a addiction counselor that helped with
substance abuse prevention intervention specialist is how they broke it down. And that doesn't go with Spark. I made up many acronyms for that.
Yeah.
Special people and really kind.
But the Spark counselor was an institution in
Absolutely.
New York. Like every school, my high school had a Spark counselor, and that was a little while ago. And so you did that for a bit.
I did that for about 14 years.
Wow. Yeah.
14, 16 years.
And then while you were doing that, you got the master's in school counseling.
I got the master's in school counseling. I was also, at the time, taking classes, working on a CASAC. It was almost, I got my confidence up doing the CASAC work, and then I segued into getting a degree in school counseling. Because as a SAPist, I mean, like 2 levels, and you're kind of boxed in, so I had to go back and get some more education.
CASAC, another certification related to substance abuse. Certified addiction specialist.
Yeah, alcohol and
alcohol
addiction.
Counselor, right.
Yeah.
So you got all of these credentials, and you were definitely working in the field as a SAPist. I mean, as a SPARK counselor.
Yes.
Did you really feel that the learning that you got helped you to help those young people that you came in contact with?
Yes, but I always wanted more. I guess it's not the easy button, but the answers are out there. Mm-hmm. You see, I've always been involved in the martial arts, and through the martial arts, I was interested in the Denmark, which is the death touch. I don't know if you've ever watched Bloodsport, and Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's going to break these bricks, and then the guy points to the brick at the bottom, and he says, break that one, like in the middle. And then he goes, and he hits the brick, and it explodes in the middle. So I was kind of interested in that, and I would always, I was an instructor at the YMCA for about 14 years, teaching youth karate. And every day afterwards, I would go to the food court, like on the weekends, on Saturdays, I go to the food court. Right there on the Jamaica YMCA. They call it was Central Queens YMCA at the time, but now they call it the Jamaica YMCA on Parsons Boulevard. Mm-hmm. So I'd go to the food court, which was right down the block, and then with a group of other students, group of kids, we'd hit the library. And when I went to the library, I get all the new books coming out because they would always display them. And one time they had this palm with this color energy coming out, and that was an advanced Pranic Healing book. I was like, that's the book. I thought it was related to Denmark, but it was related to healing. It was the other side of the martial arts. Instead of using the energy for destructive purposes, it was using it for constructive purposes. When I began to read that book said, don't even think about this book if you haven't read the basic book. So I went and I hunted, and I found the basic book. I read it, and I started doing healing on myself, started doing healing on family members, and said, hey, you know what? I want to take a course. I want to take that advanced course. Yeah. So I called up the Center for Pranic Healing in New Jersey, and they said, you can't take the advanced course. I said, I read the basic book. I can do everything in it. They said, no, you got to take the course. So then I took the basic, and I took the advanced. I took the psychotherapy. I took the crystal healing. They had many levels. Actually, the job that I was doing at Adolescents in Need, which was the counseling agency that I was working for when I got exposed to other thing, they paid for me to do the pranic psychotherapy. And pranic psychotherapy is amazing. It's the answer to people's prayers. People pray. I don't know if they're open and receptive to having their prayers answered, but I truly believe it's the answer to prayers.
All right. Well, first of all, for people who don't know this medium, this is pranic, spelled
Pranic. Prana being the same thing as chi or ki or life force energy. The Polynesians call it mana. Hebrews call it ruah. Is life force energy.
Right. Chi.
Chi. Yeah. That's it. Chi.
Okay. All right. I mean, this is an education for me too, and so you really self-educated
Absolutely.
in this, and then you were told, you gotta take the basic course. So how was that? I'm wondering, how was that on your pockets, taking the coursework at the time that you took it?
Do you know what? Honestly, it's worth its weight in gold. When you go to, I did, it was almost like a crash course. I did the basic course one day, I think it was a 2-day course. Then I took the advanced course. I was looking at a pranic psychotherapy course today. It's like from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And they're going all day. You take a break, you might do some meditation, which is energy work, and the energy has you up. It's not like, oh my gosh, it's such a long day. It's like, wow, it's like, really, that day went.
Wow.
You know, you feel energized. So it's a wonderful experience.
The meditations really help to
Absolutely.
maintain the energy in that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's essential. It's essential to building you up, building your energy body. Meditation is just so helpful, you know, on so many different levels. Spiritual nutrient.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I mean, I've known you for some time now, and I don't think I've ever seen you looking worn out and tired. So that's a testament right there. So,
Thank you.
yeah, my pleasure. And so now you took this coursework, and you were in your 30s maybe.
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah. You were already a SPARK counselor. And how, if at all, were you able to use this?
Absolutely. So it's having a conversation with someone and explaining it to them. Sometimes things seem miraculous, and you want to make sure people understand the science of it and that this is not magic. You know, because you get the results like, wow, that seems kind of magical. If, you know, I can make something move on your wall and you don't realize that I'm fanning and it's moving, you know, oh, that's magic. No, this is not magic. It's based upon scientific principles. And when you understand the principles, it's totally logical, based upon the scientific method, because they do the research there, so that you can see and understand it. And it's just like, wow, you know, we are all natural healers, every single one of us, but not everyone taps into their healing potential, and they may turn to someone else to do the healing for them.
Right. And then when you're talking about Western medicine, the kind of healing that we get, sometimes I imagine you may not even look at it as real healing. It may be looked at as addressing symptoms.
Yes. It's interesting because I think the healing profession just focuses on symptoms because that's where the money is. You know, after someone is healed, you're done. You don't have to come back. Mm-hmm. I think there's something wrong with modern medicine not healing a condition. Why are people on medication for life? Makes no sense. The body has a tendency towards homeostasis, towards balance. If there's an imbalance, let's correct the imbalance and, you know, get the person back to wellness. It can be done, but that is not the intention of medicine. Is not cure is not it. Treating symptoms is what it is. Treating symptoms is not correcting the origin of the problem.
Yeah. If you were to break it down to components of pranic healing,
how does it work?
Yeah, you'd have the meditation. And
okay. So I'll see if I can connect it the way I want to.
Okay.
E equals mc squared. Einstein's theory of relativity. Energy equals mass or matter moving at the speed of light times the speed of light. That's what E equals mc squared is. The equal sign is saying that what's on this side of the equation equals that side of the equation. So you have energy equals matter moving at a different rate of vibration. Everything is energy, including us. Okay? So we have an energy body that reflects our physical body. The contours of our physical body are really based upon our energetic bodies. Okay? So we have a matrix of energy. And in that matrix of energy, when energy is flowing freely, we're at ease or in good health. When there is when energy is not flowing properly, we have disease, lack of ease within the body. Before there is malfunction in the physical body, it can be detected in the energy body. And if you correct it in the energy body, it corrects it in the physical body, but there's like a little bit of a lag to kind of catch up. And once you understand the energetic matrix of the energy body, you can work with it and you can see the results. You don't have to believe what I'm saying, but you get the results. You're like, whoa, how do you do? You know, you're seeing the results. This was created by a gentleman called Master Choa Kok Sui, who was Chinese and Filipino in descent, and he was an engineer by trade. So he's looking at results. He's not, don't believe what I'm saying, test it. Test it. And once you see and experience it, like, whoa, you could have a toothache and I could, move your energy. It's not correcting the toothache. You still need to get to the dentist, get me correct.
Right.
But the pain is gone. I understand pain. I can talk you out of pain if you were in pain because I understand how pain is. Pain is a right brain experience. It doesn't have size, it doesn't have taste, it doesn't have color, it doesn't have form. I can talk to you in such a way that you could be experiencing pain in your knee from a athletic collision and you would cease to experience that pain. I've done it.
Pranic
that's
psychotherapy.
But that's not pranic psychotherapy. That's my understanding of pain in general. Pranic psychotherapy is pranic healing applied to mental health issues. So pranic healing would take a physical injury and manipulate your energy so that the body would accelerate in healing itself. When you apply it to mental health concerns, they call it pranic psychotherapy.
I know I keep pressing, but give me more. This is very interesting. Like, so in a psychotherapy situation. Yeah.
Okay. So in Sanskrit, you have what they call chakras. Chakras are defined as spinning wheels of light. These are different energy centers throughout the body. In pranic psychotherapy, particular energy centers govern particular functions. So you have an energy center at the top of your head called the crown. You have one between the eyebrows called the ajna. You have one at your throat. There are many more than chakras, and what I'm saying is just like I gotta give you a basic understanding.
Yeah.
Because they have major chakras, minor chakras, mini chakras, micro chakras. So it's just like, okay, we'll give you the big ones.
Yeah.
And deal with it from there. You have your heart chakra, which deals with higher emotions. You have your solar plexus, which deals with lower emotions, anger, envy. When you are upset, your solar plex chakra gets bigger. It gets congested. So imagine you're making a delivery of bread and there's a backup on the street. Everything that's in front of the bread truck doesn't get its delivery because there's a backup here, and everything back here is congested. This is depleted because it's not getting the energy that it needs, and this is congested. And it's just understanding that energy needs to flow to the particular centers in order to keep a person healthy. So I'm gonna share something that's very private and is just like really like crazy. Okay. So when I was teaching karate, a good friend of mine had a sudden heart attack, and he died. Okay. A few months later, my father died, and there was some significant stressors around me.
Yeah.
And I became very depressed. And one day I'm laying on the floor, I started hearing voices. I was like, what the heck? And they were ugly voices telling me to do some things, and I'm like, holy, I'm like, I'm bugging. Because I had studied pranic psychotherapy, I understand that if you're hearing voices, it doesn't mean, when a person hears a voice, it doesn't mean that the voice is not there. It just means other people are not hearing it. It also means that you have holes in your ear chakras. And if you have holes in your ear chakras, you can hear voices, or you will hear voices. And, understanding pranic psychotherapy, I sealed up the ear chakras, and I stopped hearing the voice. it's not just the ear chakra, it's a whole recipe that you go through when your system is out of whack. And understanding that, I never heard the voices again. If I am feeling depressed or anxious, I can just literally take the energy off of me. Like sometimes you get agitated and you're feeling the agitation. He's like, oh, I forgot I do this. And then you take the energy, you cleanse yourself. You cleanse a particular energy center. Solar plexus is involved in all emotional stuff. Your heart center too. The heart is the center of the higher emotions. I can get more of this heart, this higher energy, and clear out the lower energy, then I can feel much better. So it's understanding the whole energy system. Not too complex. Anybody can do it. Anybody. We're all natural healers, but all of us don't do what we know how to do. I'm one of those people who do. I don't like to go to the doctor. I don't like to take drugs. So to me, if I could do it naturally and avoid all those type of side effects, I want to do it. And the beauty of it is that it works with modern medicine. It's not to say, oh, no. We work with you, you can do all your tests and all that. This helps accelerate your outcomes.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend years on somebody's couch. Depression, it doesn't have to be long term. Dealing with anger management, all the stuff that you deal with. Yeah. I think of you as like the Barry Gordy of counseling. You're doing things, and you're a hit maker, man. You're doing things in our community, and thank you for that. Because we need that. And when I hear people, in need and looking for solutions and praying for things, like it's here. It's here. Yeah. It's available. But people, I think sometimes they put it in a difficult context. Sometimes I work with people, or even when I was working with students, oh, Mr. Don, you do that magic. It's not magic. Yeah. Understand these principles. This is what I'm doing. And I want to explain it, because if you misrepresent it, then it becomes something that it's not. And people's like, oh, they become weary.
Absolutely.
And standoffish. So that's why I want to let people know it's based upon a scientific method, and the proof is in the pudding. It's not just me saying this. It was weird. My brother had all the symptoms of a heart attack, and I worked on him. And he was laying down in the bed. He was like, oh, I'm hurting and this. And, I worked on him. He got up and smoked a cigarette. I'm feeling better. He didn't go to the doctor.
Got up and smoked a cigarette.
He got up and smoked a cigarette. But he never had the problem again. I did what I know how to do. Can't say, I'm not at liberty to diagnose anything, but it's just like, based upon what he's saying, this is what it looks like.
Yeah. It's also interesting how the pieces or the parts of the body, the organs, the heart, like the people who take a quote unquote a scientific perspective would say the heart is it pumps blood. It doesn't have anything to do with emotion. And then you're actually saying that the heart does have an energy connection to higher emotions.
So in Pranic Healing, they do a meditation on twin hearts. And the twin hearts are based upon the energy center in the crown of your head, and also in the heart, because the heart mirrors the crown chakra here. But also, if you look into something called heart math, they talk about heart intelligence. In the Bible it says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So intelligence is not just localized in the brain, but a lot of times people think so. The whole body is intelligent. I could actually feel a card, say a playing card, and tell you what it is. If it's a heart, if it's a spade, because I'm feeling what it feels like. So it's almost like if you tasted salt, you know what salt tastes like. And if you tasted pepper, you know what pepper tastes like. So you're like, okay, this is what it tastes. And, I can do it with my eyes closed because I understand what that is. When you're dealing with energy, you can feel dirty energy. You can feel congested energy. I was working with my son the other day, and I was feeling his energy, and it felt like sticky, like hot. And it was on my hand, like, oh, okay, no, that's dirty.
Yeah.
And you could feel texture to it. It's just sensitizing yourself to it.
Right.
We walk around and so many things we tune out.
Yeah.
And so many things that we're tuning into at one time, we don't know how to really focus on something. So when you meditate, when you get quiet, you become more sensitive and able to perceive what is right there.
Right.
So it's all connected.
That's heavy stuff, man. I need to talk with you more.
Not only do you need to talk with me, I'd like to do a session with you so you can see the before and after, just like, the proof is in the pudding.
Okay.
So once you experience it, you're like, I get it. I was working with a lady at a conference, and the energy is so relaxing that she fell asleep. And I noticed when I do a really good job, I don't usually do a bad job at all. But when I do a really good job, person falls asleep. They're right there, just like, they just relax.
Yeah.
Just totally relax.
Yeah, and so, accessing modalities like this, it sounds like it could be revolutionary for people.
It is. It will be. There are people doing it. They've been doing it for quite some time. It's not new. It's one of those ancient sciences that is being more popularized. But it's also checking it out. You have to explore. People say they want answers, and they give it an answer like, give me this, but and you give it to them.
Yeah.
So if you really want it, imagine, give me some disorders that people suffer from that are
Mental health.
Yeah, mental health disorders.
Major depressive episodes.
Major depressive episodes. Depression. It's in there. So there's the book Pranic Psychotherapy by Master Choa Koksui. In there, it outlines as a recipe what the condition looks like and what you're supposed to do energetically to correct it. So I just have to follow the book. Like, you can feel the energy, but it's there. So depression handled. Doesn't have to be long term. And that's I think that's huge.
It is.
Some people have been doing psychotherapy on someone's couch for 10, 20 years. Wonderful income for the therapist. But you can get answers more quickly, and the beauty of it is you can learn to do it to yourself. I mean, the reason why I do it is because I want to take care of me the best that I can.
Right.
And everybody has that ability. But if you don't, you can always come to me or you.
Yeah. It's funny you were saying wonderful income. I would agree that it's income, but the insurance company's income is not wonderful income.
Well, do you know the other thing is, it's important that we not let money become a barrier.
Mm-hmm.
When you're dealing with energy, it's a system of exchange. If you want to get something, you got to give something. And everybody is not at the same level of giving, but what is the impact of this work on you? If you're depressed and you can't go to work, and the insurance company, to me, I'm not an expert on insurance, but life seems like there's a bunch of little traps. Like, you want to do this, but this. And you want to do that, but that. And it seems like someone has constantly got their hand in your pocketbook, or you're meeting some sort of barrier and you can't get through. It's like, really? Over here too? And over here? You know what? There are people who are willing to pay. And it's really weird because on a certain level, I want to work in my community, and do things. But sometimes people cheap out. I help you out, but realize it's a reciprocal relationship. These courses are not cheap.
Yeah.
You can easily drop $1,000 on a course, $1,000 or more on a course.
Yeah.
But the results, you see the impact, you see how you feel, helping your loved ones.
Yeah.
You see, that's invaluable, and it's a beautiful art form that people should become aware of. The answer is out there, just like the X-Files says.
I really appreciate this valuable information. And if people want to learn more about Pranic Healing, what resources would you recommend? I remember the one book that you just said.
Okay, so there's actually a Center for Pranic Healing in New Jersey. They used to have one in New York. I'm not sure if that one is still in existence, but you can go online to the Center for Pranic Healing, Pranic Healing, and they have courses. And when you visit the website, they have this coast. They have it's worldwide. Massachowa, Koksui. When I go to a retreat in Bovina, you have people from all over the world, and you're coming together, and it's beautiful. It's people. They're spiritual people. People who are in tuned and looking to do good things.
Yeah.
Pranic Healing is like a entry into higher spirituality as well. It's about character building. It's about being the best you that you can be. And as you clean yourself up, you're part of this energy matrix that we all share together. So, as I clean my energy, the balance of energy gets better and better for those around me. Sometimes you can be around a person, you're like, I feel good whenever I'm around you. What is that? It's their energy is different. They bring a different vibe. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And how about if people want to contact you? Do you have a website or social media?
I'm working on my website. Somebody's building a website for me. My email, Datkins, Datkins 546 @gmail.com.
That's excellent. The more you expose people to this, and the more people learn about it, I think that you're going to have people opening up their possibilities for getting help.
Yeah.
Anything that you want to talk about before we close out?
If you're interested in it, if you have some condition, try it out. Don't be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Ask as many questions as you want. But it's doable. You don't have to stay where you are, whatever that is. Mental illness, physical illness. The Creator created us to live a life of abundance. And I don't think we're being as abundant as we can be. Not yet.
Absolutely.
So,
Donald Atkins, thank you. And like, subscribe, and share for more revolutionary and interesting content. We're on YouTube as the Help to Adjust podcast. The same thing on Facebook and IG, also known as If Testimony Was a Person. Peace and love, we will connect.